Hey folks, so we're outside on the patio today, and you can see that we have quite the collection of plants out here. Some of these were actually on the other side, on the other patio, but we brought them out here because the sun is nicer. I could already see behind Sonder that this happens every day. We get raccoons out here, and this one was at some point a plant. But you can see they either
absolutely nothing left.
Yeah, they either ate it or they knocked it down one too many times. Yesterday there was still a plant, but I put some out here just so they could get some rain and sun, and it really grows the plants. There's nothing like Mother Nature, except when Mother Nature's critters come over and start eating the plants. But for the most part, it's been pretty good. I actually have been tempted to want to bring my hoyas out because I don't know, just within the last couple months, oh, there goes the chipmunk. Speaking of nature's critters, they have just been blooming like crazy. I have two that are now out of bloom. This one has the tastiest nectar. I literally put my entire tongue on it. It's really good, but I was like, oh gosh, I'm sure the hummingbirds would really enjoy this. And then I have my shooting stars, Hoya. This is the third time it's actually bloomed. And you can see the nectar just coming off of that as well. I mean, why stop there? I'll try this one. A little less sweet, or else I just desensitized my tongue. But I wanted to bring those out because I'm gonna just do some fertilizing. My watering can. Let me go get it. Let me go grab it. It's on the other side. We just got back from town, one of the big box stores, and they had a lot of great houseplants, so I picked up a couple as well. Not going to take care of those today, but I was surprised at the many options that they have. But the main things that we're going to do today are these citrus trees, and we've had some crazy weather as of late, like lots of heavy winds. We had a little tornado that came through. We luckily didn't get hit by the tornado, but we were like on the edge and the wind was crazy. And so this was knocked over completely. And some of my smaller plants, luckily nothing broke on this one. Some branches broke on some of my smaller plants. And I realized, I'm training up some of my fruit trees now in the landscape that I should probably train these. I never really liked the shape and the form of these plants. Normally, if you go to the store, you might be able to select the best that are there, the best forms or whatnot. And, I had these mail orders, so I don't get to choose them. So I said, well, maybe I could actually make them look a little prettier. Now, if you recall, this citrus was giving me like yellow leaves maybe a year or 2 years ago. I didn't think it was a nitrogen issue, because if you start getting yellowing leaves, sometimes it's a nitrogen issue. It's not getting enough nitrogen to green up the leaves. Could be a magnesium issue, whatever it may be. I surmised that it was the vigorous shoots coming out below the graft zone. So sometimes they have a scion and a graft, and the rootstock is a different plant altogether to maybe make it more vigorous or to prevent bacterial or fungal infection. And you could see that this vigorous shoot right here is from the rootstock. And you could tell it's from the rootstock because the leaves are completely different, and you see these massive spines. And that will give you an indication that this is not the rest of this plant. So if I continue to let these grow, that might actually sap energy away from all of these. And the other thing that's happening is that you could see all these little flower buds starting. So I want to make this burst into flowers. So I'm gonna take care of this, fertilize it, train it up, get some nice light and airflow coming through this plant, even though it's quite spindly. And this actually flowered for me over the winter months. So this is not cold hardy to our area. We're zone 5-6. This definitely does not go down to a negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter months. So I put this in Peepo and Tutu's heated coop, and this thrived there. I didn't have to water it all that much, and it flowered all throughout the winter months. And I'm surprised it's actually flowering again. So here we are, and I'm going to just clip this off. So what you want to do is take some sanitized shears and just clip right off at the base. None of these are really big, so I could use these little shears, and you could see the comparison there. Look how vigorous those are. Now, if this ever, let's say this died back, this tree died back, you could probably just cut it right above the graft, and then maybe there's going to be some vigorous shoots that come out. Now,
where's the graft?
the graft would be somewhere right here. So you can see that this is either this, and it's healed over quite nicely. So you can see that this is either below or above the graft. I'm going to let this one grow for a bit. But you can see these are quite vigorous too, but they don't have any of those massive spines on, so that's not that bad. So because I've been training some of the trees in the landscape, I figured I have these little guys here. Different versions. I've been trying out different versions in the landscape. But what I'd like to do is try to get some of these branches horizontal, because that helps with fruit set, it helps with getting airflow, it helps with the form, because all of these are fighting for the position of the lead. And when you're growing trees in the landscape, you want to be able to pick the fruit, not necessarily have to reach up to pick the fruit on a ladder. Not saying that this one's going to get that large, but I kind of like these for these small branches. So I'm going to maybe force these down and keep this as the leader. So all you need to do is kind of just get it in that area and then gently push these down. You could only do this when they're malleable. If they're anywhere woody, it's going to get almost impossible for one to do. So I'm going to train this one down as well. Let's see if this will work, because if not, I could use one of these, which I started to use as well, but I don't like them as much for this purpose. And I could also choose to cut this back.
So will those be on there forever?
No, so eventually you just want to train these down to a certain degree, and then from there they'll be trained, and then you could actually move them off. Like usually you only want to use it for one season or so. Now let's try this one again. This fits better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Now all these have like little shoots on, but what I'm going to do, yeah, these look, all of these have flowers on, so I'd be reluctant to kind of cut any of them off. Even these, I could train these out. I don't have enough of those trainers to do that, but that's what I would do. I would take another trainer, train it out like this, take another trainer, train it out like this. I'll probably have to get another package. So this is how I would do it if you can imagine it. So I just need a bit more of those trainers. And I'm starting to see that this looks a lot better. The other thing I'd like for this to do is if it just has a stronger stem, because working with this little weak stem is challenging. And that's what you get sometimes when you get mail order. They try to do a really fast growing tree. And then what you unfortunately get with that is a tree that's not as strong in the middle stem. So otherwise than that, I don't think I'm going to cut too much more off of this. This one has quite a bit of dieback during the winter months, even though I had it in the same place as this other citrus. So you can see here that I have this like crotch happening. And what I'm going to likely have to do is decide on, and a crotch here. First of all, you don't know which one is the leader. So if this were outside and the wind was blowing, easily crack like this. So I'm just going to take this off because that was already cracking. So I'm taking this one off. Sometimes when you force it to move, it'll crack. Now I'm going to have to decide on which one I want as the vertical. I almost want this one as the vertical and push this down, or I could use this as a vertical and push this one down. It's just that this one is starting to grow more upright, even though this is off the main stem. And I could do that and train these straight down, and force this to be the vertical because it seems very aggressive. So looking at the New Year's growth and seeing which one is the most aggressive. Again, I don't really love the structure of this, but it's not like I'm going to throw it away. It's just that I'm going to try to train it a little better as opposed to not. Now let's see.
Will these be new branches?
Those are new branches,
So
and you could see.
Have a lot of branches coming in soon.
Yes, exactly. And so I could see that this is right above the graft zone, which is good. So here's the graft zone here. There's nothing growing down here, but you could see that this has gotten roughed up a little bit, and it's probably from chipmunks or squirrels or something kind of sitting in this. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of substrate to the top. It looks like chipmunks because you could see those sunflower seeds growing out. He just buried some sunflowers in there. But obviously it's not great to have the roots exposed. Eventually I'll probably just add this to a larger planter because it could use a little bit more space. Now what I'm going to do is add some citrus tone as well because these plants are heavy feeders. I'm just going to add a little bit of the slow release organic fertilizer. It has not only NPK, but it has calcium and I believe also magnesium and sulfur. And I'm going to put it around the edges as much as possible and then water that in because I don't want to burn the roots. And you want to have consistent watering, especially during the growing season. Now, the next one that I have on my list before I even get to the Hoyas is this one. And this is interesting. This is my olive. And this olive we brought in 2 years ago into this meadow house, into the cottage house. There wasn't a lot of light and it had some leaf drop, of course. That's what you're gonna get when you bring it indoors after it's been outside. And this is obviously not another hardy tree. This is an Arbequina olive. And then I brought it into the chicken coop, which is warm and it has southern facing. And I had so much dieback and I've yet to get out to clip these. So I should have been clipping this back, but this whole branch died back. And then you could see that it started to aggressively put out side shoots. I wanted to show this to you because that's what you would do if you wanted to prune it. So all of these little things are not coming, all these little stems are not coming back. But it was like, gosh, I mean, I died at the tips, so I'm gonna start putting it out this way. And when you cut those tips off, if you want more aggressive side branching, maybe you want a bushier plant, that would be a way to do this. So this actually naturally pruned itself. And I took it out without having pruned it myself. And it just looks a little tattered. So now that I've moved it out here, I'm just gonna come in and clean it up. I just love the look of olive trees. This one was also mail order, and you could see that I have it tied up on a bamboo stake because it was sent to me. But like I said, a lot of these plants, they make them grow so fast with so much fertilizer so quickly, and they don't get these really strong stems. So you might almost want the ones that are grown to be very small at first, and then you just eventually grow them out. And these are somewhat cold hardy, but definitely not cold hardy to our zones. And you know, when I get the chance to have a greenhouse, I think we'll be in a much better position. But for right now, we have to make do with what we have. So all these plants like the euphorbia and the agave and everything, those need to come in. Even if some are cold hardy, like a lot of these agave that I have are cold hardy, but they're in pots and not in the ground, and you'll have to protect those pots, like bringing them into like a garage or a basement or something. I'm gonna get more of those trainers and we'll train them out, and then I'll showcase to you what that looks like afterwards. But so this would be my lead right here, this guy. And then you could see that there's this kind of crotch right here that's happening, and it's rubbing up against one another. Not good. If I had some foresight, I would have maybe trained this out, although it's still pretty good for training. I am going to force this one out this way. Same thing with this one, and I might force it out over here so it has a bit more of a whorled look, W-H-O-R-L-E-D, not W-O-R-L-D. And then I'll make these go up. These are already kind of growing horizontally, you see that? So that actually might not need to be trained. This could be trained down so you could actually see what the structure of this tree will look like. Because right now this is pretty uncomfortable at this stage. This is growing into the main stem and rubbing up against one another. As it starts to age, this thing is going to push into one another and cause some friction. So it'll be important to kind of train that down. So yeah, not necessarily the most loveliest looking trees as far as form goes, but there's obviously things that we could do about it, which is good. All right, so let's do some bloom boosters. Obviously these are already blooming. Usually it's 2 to 3 doses per gallon of water. I'm just gonna pour a little bit into here because if I use this guy to pour into those small containers, probably blow out all the substrate. This could use a dusting on the leaves as well. I am tempted to leave these out, but because they have been in a window, this is almost too much sun. You know, typically Hoyas, when I go to greenhouses, they're grown under around 50% shade. So if I all of a sudden move these out into this bright sun, it's going to burn the leaves. So I would need to either move them out slowly or put them under some type of shaded patio. But I wanted to show these to you because I just love the blooms of Hoyas, and when they actually bloom, it's just really lovely to see. I had maybe 3 or 4 more blooming in there just like 2 weeks ago, but all the flowers are past now. Anyway, so that's some of the tidying and the chores that I needed to do here. You get the gist of this. I'm sorry I ran out of some of the trainers. They're a little finicky to try to figure out, especially because all of this is very organic and these are very straight, so you always kind of have to, you know, just fiddle about. And again, just remember that if it's too woody, you risk actually breaking the tree. But in some cases, it's okay to take off some of those stems, even if they are vigorous stems, because they just might be growing in an obtuse or kind of weird kind of way. So anyway, I'll see you in the next episode. We have more great tours coming up. And also, if you don't know, we have some great garden tours outdoors that are coming up on our sister channel at Flock Finger Lakes. So take a look for that. And then I'll be announcing some new botanical tours, group botanical tours in 2026 and beyond. So take a look at that. You just go onto homesteadbrooklyn.com, hit the Learn tab, and then go down to our botanical tours. We have Costa Rica and Thailand. Those trips are actually sold out, but we might be doing a trip to Japan. So keep an eye out for that. See you in the next episode. Bye.